Good morning, my dear students. The next topic we are going to study in module 2 is the influence of Bible on English vocabulary. So far we have covered the historical background to Middle English period, Norman conquest and all. Then the influence of Norman conquest on English vocabulary, influence on French language, that is the language of Normans. French is the language of Normans. The influence of uh, the language of Normans, that is French on modern English, or otherwise it's called French loan words. And now we are about to study the influence of Bible on English language. That is words associated with Christian religion or simply from Bible. So the influence of Bible. The manifold versions of Bible, that is the different translation or the varied versions of Holy Bible, it played a very significant role in giving a better shape to English language. Bible has a very crucial role in shaping the English vocabulary. That is, it contributed much to the development of English vocabulary. How? How Bible contributed in enhancing the English, our language, English language, that we are going to study in detail right now. While considering the influence of Bible on English language, or when we consider the influence of Bible on English language, we have to take account of, we have to consider the three versions of Bible. Mainly three versions of Bible. Which are they? Those various translations of Bible, the three versions of Bible include, the first one is the translation by Tyndale. I shall repeat the first one, the translation by Tyndale. The second one by Coverdale, Tyndale, Coverdale, and the authorized version of Bible, which was Bible during 1611. And this authorized version of Bible was created under the direction of King James I. So there are three main translations of Bible that happened during this Middle English period. The first one is the translation by Tyndale, second one Coverdale, and the third one the authorized version of Bible of 1611. This year is important, authorized version of Bible, the year of authorized version of Bible, which was 1611. In addition to these three versions, the Anglican prayer book, which was first issued in 1549, and this one also, this Anglican prayer book, that has also left an indelible mark on English language. Even though we emphasized the three versions only, there are many other translations. That means the translation made before the invention of printing. There are so many translations that were there before the invention of printing. Though they had introduced many novelties of expression, but because of the limited circulation of those translations, that is, it was before the introduction of printing press, there were only limited circulation was possible. This wide circulation of books were possible after the introduction of printing press. So, because there were many translations before the introduction of printing, but because of the limited circulation of those translations, the expressions that came into being through this translation, these various translations, did not affect our language, did not affect the English language. These translations, that is translation by Tyndale or the translation from Tyndale onwards, that were not that were not translation from Latin Vulgate, but they were made. They were from the original Hebrew of Greek version. So what we have discussed right now is the three versions of Bible that contributed so many words to English vocabulary. There are actually three versions. There were so many versions before the introduction of Bible, but this Bible translation that gained wide circulation after the invention of printing press. Those three versions of Bible include the first one, Tyndale, translation by Tyndale, then Coverdale's Bible, and the third one, authorized version of Bible of 1611. So first we are going to study the translation of Bible by Tyndale or Tyndale's translation. Tyndale's translation or Tyndale's Bible, it's noted for the idiomatic yet beautiful style he used in his translation of Bible. This Bible, Tyndale's Bible, has a very beautiful style. There are a great deal of his usages of Tyndale's version that have passed into English language. So many words, so many coinages by Tyndale entered into English language, but got popularity through the authorized version of Bible of 1611. So many coinages, so many beautiful coinages entered into English vocabulary from Tyndale's translation, but it got popularity through the authorized version of Bible that came into being in 1611. One of the one of the significant contribution by Tyndale is the coinage of the word scapegoat. We are all familiar with the word scapegoat. This scapegoat, it deserves a special mention. An example of the word scapegoat, which is actually a crude translation of a proper name in Hebrew, but Tyndale's figurative use of the word is a valuable addition to English language. The word scapegoat, it was it was a proper name that belonged to Hebrew, but this word, the scapegoat, the word itself gained popularity, or it became a valuable addition to English language with the translation of Tyndale's Bible. Clear? So we are indebted to Tyndale for so many other words and phrases like congregation, elder, peacemaker, long-suffering, ungodliness, weakling, godly, stumbling block, glad tidings, etc. These are all phrases that we are actually indebted for. The English vocabulary or English language is indebted to Tyndale. The familiar and indispensable word beautiful is not known to have been used used by any writer before Tyndale. That means it is of course a contribution by Tyndale. The first one we have discussed is scapegoat. Then there are so many translations like peacemaker, congregation, long suffering, etc. And one of the familiar and indispensable word to us is beautiful. These are all of course contribution by Tyndale. Now, words that passed into English vocabulary from Tyndale. Again, it was Tyndale who brought the purely legal term trespass into common parlance through Tyndale's translation. Trespass, the word trespass that gained popularity or that became a part of common vocabulary through Tyndale. The authorized version has forgive us our the authorized version has a phrase forgive us our doubts, but actually it was Tyndale who rendered it with greater effect as forgive us our trespasses. Forgive us our trespasses. It is a phrase, it is a coinage by Tyndale. It was rendered by Tyndale but it became popular with authorized version as forgive as our debts. Other examples include phrases like burden and heat of the day. Burden and heat of the day, it's a phrase. Eat, drink and be merry, that we are all familiar with, right? Eat, drink and be merry. Tomorrow we may die, right? Then the powers that be, the fatted calf, which is the authorized which the authorized version, these are coinages which authorized version of Bible has made familiar, which are originally from Tyndale. These words, these phrases, burden and heat of the day, eat, drink and be merry, the power that be, the fatted calf, these are all phrases which are actually from the work of Tyndale or Tyndale's translation, but it gained wide acceptance or popularity with authorized version. Okay. So next we are going to study the translation by Coverdale. So what we have discussed till now is the translation by Tyndale, the words that were actually from Tyndale's translation, which later gained popularity with the authorized version of Bible. Now we are about to discuss Coverdale's translation. Coverdale's translation of 1535. This translation has contributed beautiful coinages like loving kindness, tender mercy, loving kindness, tender mercy, then tender-hearted avenger of blood, the value shadow of death, etc. These are all beautiful coinages by Coverdale. They are loving kindness, tender mercy, tender-hearted avenger of blood, then the value of shadow of death, etc. The value of shadow of death, it's a place described in the work Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress. So these are words, these are coinages from the translation by Coverdale. Certain phrases like prodigal son, the mess of pottage are also recognized as biblical phrases. The well-known phrase, another well-known phrase, the sweat of thy brow, cannot be found in any extant version of the book of Genesis, but according to general opinion, that word in book of Genesis is a phrase, Genesis is a phrase, sweat of thy face. So the seat of thy brow is of Coverdale's. Maybe this expression may have been survived from one of the Lollard's version of 15th century Bible. The expression, the iron hath entered my soul, is also from Jesuit version of Bible. So these are coinages, important coinages from Coverdale's translation. Compared to Tyndale's translation, there are so many phrases that we are all familiar with, or we use it in our everyday instances, like loving kindness, tender mercy, tender-hearted avenger of blood, the value of shadow of death, etc. These are major contribution by Coverdale. And Coverdale's translation, the year of Coverdale's Bible was 1535. So next it's about authorized version of Bible of 1611. The major characteristics of authorized version of Bible. Even though Tyndale's translation and Coverdale's translation made significant contribution, however, it is not this early translation but the authorized version of 1611 which has exerted great influence on English phrasing, prose, rhythm and syntax. There are so many contributions, so many coinages from Tyndale and Coverdale that became part of English vocabulary. But the authorized version has significant contribution or it has exerted great influence on English prose, rhythm, syntax, etc. The authorized version is unique as an English classic because it has preserved the tradition of the language. It is unique in the sense that it has preserved our tradition, the tradition of the language itself. Its language. What about the language of authorized version? Its language is simple and dignified. It has a very simple but dignified language. But the simple and dignified language is a little bit archaic, as befitting the great book of divine revelation. It is a little bit archaic. Archaic means old fashioned one, archaic, or out of language that is out of use, archaic terms. This authorized version, the language is simple and dignified but a little bit archaic. It is effectively balanced to literary and colloquial style. This authorized version, it has a very balanced style. That means it has a balanced literary and colloquial style. What is colloquial style? That means not very formal but an ordinary conversational style. It's colloquial style. Ordinary usages will be there. Colloquial language, ordinary daily use languages. It has a balanced, it follows a balanced way, balanced style. That is, it has a balanced literary and colloquial style. And about its vocabulary, it's predominantly Anglo-Saxon. It is completely Anglo-Saxon, and about 94% of the words are native words. It used native words, that means colloquial words. And the vocabulary, it follows the Anglo-Saxon vocabulary. So these are the major characteristics of Anglo-Saxon authorized version of 1611. That is, it exerted a great influence on English prose, rhythm, syntax, etc. It is unique as an English classic because it preserved the tradition of language. Then about the language, it is simple and dignified. It has a simple and dignified language. Most of the words are having an archaic tone, or it's archaic. It has a balanced literary and colloquial style. Then about the vocabulary, it follows, it's predominantly Anglo-Saxon and most of the words are colloquial or native words. Okay. Now about the words that became part of English vocabulary from the authorized version. Many phrases from the Bible are used as idioms that are used without any conscious of being their biblical origin. These words that belong to Bible or from Christianity, they are used as idioms without being aware of having a biblical origin. Such idioms include to cast a pearl before swine, labor of love, a howling wilderness, the 11th hour, clear as crystal, the still small voice, the shadow of death, to hope against hope, the old Adam, the salt of the earth, to wash one's hands off, the olive branch, the holy of holies, a cry in wilderness, a perfect Babel, the Benjamin of the family, a painted Jezebel, the worship of Mammon, a Leviathan ship. All these words belong to this category. There are so many words from authorized version. These are some of them. Most of these words are used without being consciously aware of having a biblical origin. Okay. Just to go through all these words, authorized version of Bible. It's very important. Now, the authorized version has contributed words, but actually they were given rise through misunderstanding. There are we have already told that there are so many words from authorized version which are used without being aware of having its biblical origin. Now it gave rise to so many phrases, or it has contributed so many words, but actually they were given rise through misunderstandings. The Bible has sometimes given rise to phrases and words through misunderstanding. One of the striking instance of the word is helpmate. This is a common word, right? In our modern English vocabulary. Helpmate. It is actually a misunderstanding. That coinage was itself a misunderstanding. It was helpmate. What was the original word then? The phrase was originally used in book of Genesis to describe Eve. To describe Eve, this word helpmate was actually used. The lines read this. I quote, "It is not good that man should be. I will make a helpmeet for him." While creating Adam, after creating Adam, God said that it is not good that man should be. So he is ready to create. He is going to have another creation as a helpmeet for him. That helpmeet, it's misunderstood, and from that helpmeet, this coinage helpmate entered into English vocabulary. Readers mistook the two words help and meet for a compound word, and so helpmeet became helpmate. Actually it was two different words, and it was misunderstood as a compound word. That is two words combined together to form a word. That is helpmeet. It was misunderstood as helpmate and a synonym for one's partner in life. They just used it with the meaning that one's partner in life. The authorized version has also revived and saved some words that were on the verge of becoming obsolete at that time. What are the words? Raiment, apparel, firmament, damsel, travail, etc. These are the words which are on the verge of, which are on the brim of being obsolete. But authorized version revived these words, so it is still in English vocabulary. Next, the authorized version has contributed so many words, phrases and coinages to English vocabulary. In addition to that, these words also become part of English people's vocabulary. How? The fact is that these words, there are so many words from the translation, the authorized version of Bible, and later these words became a part of English people's vocabulary. It is widely used. How? Because the habit of reading Bible and listening to the Englishmen have the habit of reading Bible and listening to Bible every Sunday, and this had an effect on their vocabulary. That means reading Holy Bible frequently results in adding much of the phrases and rhythm to become part of Englishman's mental makeup. Poets like S.T. Coleridge, romantic poet S.T. Coleridge, William Wordsworth, then another poet John Milton, then Alfred Lord Tennyson, Victorian poet, and writers like John Bunyan, Sir Thomas Browne, Thomas Carlyle, Thomas Ruskin, Cardinal Newman. All these writers have been greatly influenced by the style and diction of Bible. It became these words from authorized version of Bible became part of English people's vocabulary through the frequent handling of Bible or reading of Bible, and the listening, their habit of listening to Bible every Sunday, it had a wider effect. And thus these words entered into common people's vocabulary. In addition to that, the authorized version of Bible has influenced many writers, particularly ranging from romantic poets and particularly romantic writers and Victorian writers. John Macaulay extols the Bible as a book. He commented, he extols Bible as a book which, if everything else in our language should perish, Bible would alone be sufficient to show the whole extent of its beauty and power. He commented about the language of Bible. If everything else in this world would perish, if everything else got destructed, Bible alone be sufficient to show the whole extent of its beauty and power. Then this is what John Macaulay extols. Then according to Tennyson, the Victorian writer, the Bible ought to be read were it only for the sake of grand English in which it is written, an education in itself. That means reading Bible alone is an education in itself. It adds to our knowledge. It's an education in itself. That's what that's according to Tennyson. Then about Arthur Hallam. Arthur Hallam, the poet, considers authorized version as one of the noblest monuments of English prose and is the perfection of our language. One of the noblest monuments. The Bible authorized version is a monument of English prose, and it's a perfection to English language. That means so many words are there. It adds to the language or the English vocabulary. Arthur Hallam is a friend of Tennyson, and next Coleridge. Yes, what I want to add to it is Tennyson wrote In Memoriam, the famous elegy In Memoriam. This In Memoriam, he laments the death of Arthur Hallam, his friend. They were contemporaries. Then next Coleridge. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, you are all familiar with, right? Coleridge is a romantic writer. He observed, after reading Isaiah or St. Paul's epistle to the Hebrews, Homer and Virgil are disgustingly tame to me, and Milton himself barely tolerable. That is what he meant by that quote is, by reading Bible, by reading authorized version, he is able to understand classical writers like Homer and Virgil. Virgil is famous for the epic work, the Aeneid, Virgil's Aeneid. He is able to understand these classical writers like Homer and Virgil. That means that much knowledge our Holy Bible imparts, or it has in store for us. Bible imparted that much knowledge to both ordinary people and writers, popular writers. That is, it has such a treasure, such a wide knowledge which is in store for us. That's all about the influence of Bible. So that's all for today. If you have any doubt, feel free to clear it at any time. Thank you.